I just watched The Killing of a Sacred Deer for the first time today. It's one of those movies where after you turn the movie off, you're still in that movie mode. You still feel a certain type of way and a different way than how you felt before watching the movie. And that's how you know that the movie that you just watched was impactful. I'm going to split up this video into a couple different segments. That way I can keep it more organized. The first thing that I thought about when I watched the movie was cinematography and how that in itself played a character in the movie. There would be these long hallway shots where a character is walking and the camera is just following behind at a pretty fast rate, but following behind in an elevated position. And I noticed this happen many times throughout the film. They used this shot repeatedly, and it kind of adds to the creepiness. Like there's some sort of being following Stephen Murphy. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's a being, but I believe that this represents fate. Fate is following Stephen Murphy. And I think that's the significance of that specific shot. And also other shots when they're just sitting in the kitchen table eating dinner. And throughout the entire movie, there were so many shots where the camera was elevated almost to where the ceiling would be in the corner of a room, just watching this family, just watching Stephen Murphy. I'm going to go ahead and summarize the movie for you guys in about 30 seconds. That way you guys can get a refresher on what actually happened, because it did come out in 2017. You get introduced to the main character, Dr. Stephen Murphy. He's a heart surgeon, and he basically kills someone in surgery because he was drunk when he was doing the surgery. And that patient that dies is the father of this 16-year-old kid whose name is Martin. And Martin is almost attached to Stephen Murphy. And same thing with his mother. There's this very weird dynamic with this family who is now attached to Stephen Murphy, the man who is responsible for their father/husband dying. And so that is just this weird theme throughout the movie, that they have this obsession. And one day when Stephen Murphy and Martin, which is the patient's son, are having a conversation at a diner, this is the moment in the film where it completely changes. Everything changes after this moment, because Martin says that your entire family is going to die unless you sacrifice one of your family members, because you killed my father and the universe is going to make it right. This is justice. Like this, you're going to make it right. This is what you have to do, or else your entire family is going to die. There's 4 steps. 1, they are going to be paralyzed from the waist down. 2, they are going to lose their hunger and appetite. 3, they're going to bleed from the eyes. And 4, they're going to die. And so Stephen's children actually end up having these issues. His son and his daughter. His son's about 9 years old and his daughter is about 13, 14 years old. Something along those lines. Could be a little bit different, but that doesn't matter. So they now have these issues where they're paralyzed from the waist down. They aren't eating anything. And so Stephen is scrambling and ends up kidnapping Martin because he believes that he's doing something to his children, which is exactly where I would have thought if I was in Stephen's position. Not that I would ever be, but I was thinking poison. Is he poisoning their family? Like some sort of issue going on. But everything keeps building up, and eventually his son starts bleeding from the eyes, just like the prophecy foretold. And so now this sets Stephen off the rails, and he kidnaps Martin, tortures him, and pretty quickly realizes when Martin bites Dr. Murphy, and then he bites himself as a metaphor to try to explain to Stephen Murphy, this is an eye for an eye. This is the universe making it right. This is justice. And I'm not saying that in that moment Stephen agreed, but I think he just knew that if he didn't act, his entire family was going to die, and he had to do something. So what he did, he took his family, put them in a circle. There was 3 of them, his wife, his son, and his daughter, duct taped them to the chairs, put them in a circle around him. He was in the middle of the circle. He put pillowcases over their faces, and he gets a gun, he blindfolds himself, and he spins around and shoots randomly, and he ends up killing his own son. But then life goes on, and that's the end of it. That is justice. That is the universe making it right. And that's the basic of a summary as I can do. That was definitely a lot longer than 30 seconds, but yeah. The next segment is bad acting on purpose. And I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. How is that bad acting and why would they do it on purpose? But just look at the way that the characters talk. It is very strange that the way that these characters talk, the way they say lines is like they're reading it from a script. And this is totally 100% done on purpose. And you can just tell that the director is like directing these actors to talk in a certain way. And I think this just adds to the character of the film and the uneasiness of the film and how not normal the film is and the universe that this film is in. And I haven't even heard any other reviewer talking about this specific thing. And that's one of the biggest things that I noticed about the film is the way that these characters talked is just not natural. It is very unnatural and weird, and it adds to the tone of the movie being as weird and strange as it is. So you have creepy cinematography, you have weird dialogue, and you have this looming presence of fate that is casting over your entire family. And it creates a setting that is so unsettling and uncomfortable so perfectly. And all these puzzle pieces add to this outcome. It's a movie about fate. It's a movie about justice. And it's a movie about the most difficult decision that you would ever have to make. And that's who in your family has to die to save everyone else. And this is a question that I was thinking about the entire time. I was like, what if I was in Steven's position? What would I do? And I truly think that the only answer is I would kill myself, because I mean, I think that would work as far as the universe is concerned, as far as protecting my family. And I'm not sure why Steven did that. And I think that Steven deep down isn't a good person either, even though he is the protagonist of the story. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to add anything that you liked or disliked about the movie or how it made you feel, let me know in the comments, because I would love to hear your guys' opinion, because I really haven't seen any reviews or anything about the movie as far as did people like the movie or not. So yeah, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.